Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're actually not done yet. We have an extra special dessert, if you will, for today's WPC Ace action. It's the NEST National Electronic Sports Tournament. In China, it's a 3-day event. Today was your group stages. We missed most of the group stages. We just found out that the event's going on, but we are in the lobby for DK versus Tongfu. Before we jump in the game, I have Liquipedia up if we want to take a quick look at it here. We can show the group standings. We don't have any fancy overlays, guys, but we're in Group A right now. Vici Gaming already played Team DK, actually took them down, so they won that game. RTK, there's a funny clip of him just running his mouth, which we'll probably play after this game, but he was happy to beat his former teammates. And Vici Gaming, if they win their next game, will secure first place in Group A. Only the top 2 teams from each group advance. We're now into DK versus Tongfu. I want to say the only way Tongfu can advance is if Rattlesnake beats or loses to Vici Gaming and Tongfu wins this game. Then you'd have a 3-way tie. I don't know what the tiebreaker rules are, but for DK, you win this game, you're in as second place, I believe. Unless Rattlesnake beats Vici Gaming, then you have another 3-way tie with all of them being 2-1. So we'll see how it shakes out, guys. But yeah, Group A now underway. We can hop ourselves inside the draft. It is a best-of-1 format. Here we go. DK going to be on the Dire side for this particular game. Tongfu on the Radiant side. And the draft began with a first pick Timbersaw. Very versatile offlaner. Can go solo mid. Just to me, one of the 3 strongest offlaners in this patch, along with Clockwork and Bounty Hunter. The hero's just a pain in the rear to deal with. DK and then go back for Clockwork Alchemist. Very interesting to see a double melee pickup when the enemy's already picked Timbersaw, because Timbersaw is very happy to see these kinds of heroes, and he can really punish them. Both strength heroes, and that Whirling Blade does remove your stats, so it really hurts against strength heroes. They lose a lot of their base HP, but Tongfu goes back for Rubik. They get a good initiator. It really doesn't tip their hand too much as far as how they're going to play out the rest of the draft. Now, the interesting thing with Tongfu is just how much of an island Zhou puts himself on. He's the one who's been drafting for this team, and time and again we see him, he'll go off lane as Viper, he'll be an anti-mage with no laning support, and sometimes it works out brilliantly, and sometimes it really backfires. So I'm curious to see what kind of space he gets. You can see DK, they know what Zhou likes to play. They ban his Viper, they ban his anti-mage, they see he hasn't picked up his hero yet, and then they go back for what looks to be a burning Luna. So DK, pretty balanced draft so far. They've got a decent 5-man mid game. They've got decent split push, good gank, good lockdown. They can scale pretty hard into late game, and with the Alchemist pickup as probably their 4 or 5 position support hero, they have the option of a 4-core lineup. So we'll see what they go for, but looks to be an Ice Clockwork offlane. Mushi's hero yet to be decided on for the solo mid, and the Alchemist will most likely go into Lamb. Dai's hero still in the offlane, Mushi's hero still in the offlane. Tongfu now go for the Chen. Fantastic pick. This is primarily to deal with the Luna. So you get the Chen. Chen creeps can tank Eclipse. You also have the Hand of God. If Luna starts to burst your team down, or if anyone gets caught, you can help keep them alive. Send heroes home. They get caught by Clockwork hookshot. So, and Chen also deals with Battery Assault well with the creeps to tank it. So I think Chen's a really strong pick. He hasn't had the best success in Chinese Dota, though, in general lately. Seems like he's very hit or miss, but with Rubik plus Chen, you're not just counting on the Chen. You have the option for a lot of dual roam. So if they want to dual roam, they should be picking very self-sufficient solos. With the Timbersaw already snapped up, they've actually banned one of those self-sufficient solos in the Mirana, but there's still some other options in the pool. Gyrocopter, actually Lifestealer still available this game. He matches up very well against Luna, but they'll go for Dragonite for now. That's going to be their solo mid, so it looks like probably an off-lane Timbersaw, and then that safe lane solo, or maybe tri-lane solo to be, or tri-lane farmer, I should say, to be determined. Tri-lane solo, that would be next level, but I don't think we're going to see that this game, guys. DK now working on their 5th and final ban. They should be banning a farmer here. Lifestealer, Gyrocopter, probably your likely choices. Outside of that, you're going pretty off the beaten path. Medusa would be the other one. I don't really think Medusa does particularly well this game. DK, I mean, they can just split push and kind of avoid the fights. They'll actually ban the Weaver, so not a hero we've seen very often, but still, I think a strong hero. It just hasn't been getting picked much, but in this patch, the minus armor is pretty good against DK's lineup. They're fairly low armor for the most part in terms of their base armor. And in terms of lockdown, they don't have many reliable stuns. They have hookshot cogs, but you can always time-lapse out of the cogs unless you've just been standing still for a long period of time. They don't have a natural Orchid or Scythe builder, and there is an Alchemist stun, and that's a 4-position Alch, so unlikely to get a Shadow Blade, so Actually, I think this Weaver ban is quite smart, and again, it's a self-sufficient solo. DK are anticipating a lot of early movement from the Rubik and Chen, and so they wisely ban out one of those. But there's still a gyro in the pool, and I hear like gyro matches up well against offlane Clockwork, so I think that's still a viable option. Lifestealer also does well against him. We will wait and see, guys. But it is a best of one if you're just joining us. This is the NEST, the National Electronic Sports Tournament. Very creative name, but yeah, it's been a good event so far. We've got some nice footage of our TK yelling his head off as he loves to do versus former teammates. DK are 1-1. They really need this win here to keep themselves in the running to advance. They can still advance if they lose, but then they're counting on who is it to lose to Vici Gaming? I believe it's they're counting on Rattlesnake to lose to Vici Gaming, which I think is fairly likely, but not 100% guaranteed. So they control their own destiny to some extent. Now working on that final pick for the draft. And with what I expect to be a support Alka, I'm just curious what Mushi's going to play. It's a Dragon Knight mid. Queen of Pain would be decent here if he feels he can snowball. They don't have much lockdown for Queen of Pain. Templar Assassin is okay, but against the Dragon Knight ultimate, doesn't really fare that well. The Poison Breath does tick 3 refraction charges. So we wait and see. Puck, I think Puck might be the best choice left. If they want to go for more initiation, also works really well against Timbersaw, as well as Chen. Yeah, I think Mushi Puck is the way to go. Unless they want to run a farming Alk and a Clockwork mid, and then do some sort of... Yeah, I don't know. Their lanes would get really weird at that point. So I feel like this has to be a support Alchemist. And yeah, I'm thinking Mushi Puck at this point. But Lifestealer got banned by Tongfu, so they're thinking that DK want to go for more of like a greedy farming hero, and that it will be a Mushi Clockwork mid, and then possibly a Luna solo, and then an aggressive tri-lane out Crystal Maiden +1, which is possible. But Tongfu can deal with an aggressive tri-lane. They can just put Timbersaw on the tri-lane, and then have the Rubik Chen even go aggressive jungle and try and wrap around, punish a safe lane. Luna, punish anyone who's in that safe lane. So DK will go back for a Bounty Hunter. So, okay. So it looks to be an off-lane Bounty Hunter for Ice Ice Ice. He'll be following the Chen around, just being a pain in the rear. They may even try and slip another hero into that off-lane, like Pet Clockwork in the lane, Bounty Hunter just following the Chen around the jungle. You could put your Alk mid and then Crystal Maiden, Luna in the safe lane. It would do okay against Timbersaw. Or they can just tri-lane against the Timbersaw. They can put Clockwork mid and Bounty Hunter off lane. The main downside to putting Bounty Hunter off lane is if he wants to be in the lane to get all the experience. And they're not, Tongfu's lineup isn't that great at zoning him out. But if he's doing that, he's not following the Chen around and shutting him down. So we'll see how they look to lane this. And Ice 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 on the Clockwork, so I think it is going to be that 4-position Bounty Hunter. It should be a Mushi Alchemist and then a burning safe lane Luna. So I like this from DK. Not going with like the standard 6.78 lanes with the tri-lane Luna and just the off-lane solo bounty, but it looks like it'll be a counter jungle lane bounty as well as an off-lane Clockwork. Okay, so Tongfu go back for a lone druid here. Gives them a very strong death ball in the mid game, and truth be told, DK are not particularly adept at stopping 5-man mid game aggression. They have decent lockdown. Luna won't be effective in those situations because of the bear as well as the Chen creep. So Eclipse will be really useless this game in most cases. And although they have Acid Spray, the Rocket from Clockwork, and the Crystal Maiden Nova, that's really about where it ends for DK. They don't have great counter push. They have decent initiation, but if you jump into the enemy team as a Clockwork, and there's like a lone druid sitting there, Timbersaw throws out the Chakram, you can easily just die. So I think for Tongfu, they will have the big edge in terms of 5-man engagements, but for DK, you'll see them look more to split push to try and have a better early start. Find those pickoffs with Bounty Hunter. Maybe we even see a Shadowblade Alchemist, the return of it, but could well be the mech builder this game. We'll just have to wait and see. So guys, that wraps up the introductions. The draft is now over. It's time for game 1 of this series. It's going to be DK on the Dire side. It's a best of 1, so it's only 1 game, to be clear. Luna's going to be playing the... Sorry, Burning's going to be playing the Luna. Ice 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 on the Clockwork. Lamb going to be handling your Bounty Hunter. The Bear will scout out Burning off the bat. We have Mushi on the Solo Mid Alchemist. Very interesting. Have not seen him play too much Alch as of late. Dai going to be handling the Crystal Maiden. So it is going to be the 4-position Bounty Hunter. He passes off the wards now to MMY. He's already deployed one in the jungle just to see the movement of the Chen here. And I think this is quite clever, because you don't really want to block camps against the Chen. You want him to jungle, and then you just take his experience. But Will he run into the Chen is the question. ZSMJ, he's toting Dust as well as Sentries. And on that note, we can introduce Tongfu now. They're on the Radiant side. They've already won their first 2 games. They're looking for a... sorry, I think they won. They're 1-1 right now along with DK. So they're looking for a win here. But XTT going to be playing your Timbersaw. It's Vici Gaming her 2-0. Mu, the Dragon Knight that puts Sangsheng onto your Rubik. ZSMJ, the Chen. And then, last but not least, it will be Zhou on the safe lane Lone Druid. So it's going to be Lamb very confidently strutting up the hill. He'll try to find a sneaky spot to hide and leech some experience, but Sangsheng may well spot him out. He's gone at Viz, just through the tree line. They're waiting. They've got sentries available. The Dust is on Sangsheng. He's hiding behind a tree right now. Is Lamb going to actually body block a camp, or is he going to let it spawn? Okay, looks like he's going to body block. Interesting. And they're actually just dual jungling, so... yeah, this is the one way to try and punish the bounty hunter. The camp hasn't spawned. They got to know he's just been there. Are they going to look for a Dust? The thing is, without a Chen creep, they can't actually kill him. So they get Dust, but even without boots, I don't think Lamb dies. And definitely with boots, he's absolutely fine. So he'll just continue to follow them around. He'll be leeching experience. He'll be blocking stacks, perhaps. As for the other lanes, off-lane Timbersaw against a double-ranged nukered lane. Luna would struggle in a 1v1 against Timbersaw, but with Crystal Maiden support, I think that lane should go well for DK. Your mid lane's going to be a Dragonite versus Alk. Pretty even matchup, maybe a slight edge to the Alk early on. So overall, all those lanes look good for them, and it's an off-lane Clockwork against a Rubik Lone Druid. Now, this is the one lane where Ice could have a really hard time. He'll have to play carefully, especially once the bear gets the Orb of Venom, already has it, as well as Phase Boots and Entangle, or at least Boots and Entangle. But for now, he's not going to die. He'll get a lot of experience. DK should have the clear advantage. There's a Sentry Ward in the middle lane, but all they can do is spot Lamb. They're worried about him sniping the Courier. He was not successful in doing so. Very cute Courier, I must say. But Mu has gotten his bottle out safely. It isn't a big investment, though, and this is why that like 4-position bounty hunter is just so damn strong in this version. Is not because you get much for yourself, but you just your opponents not only have a hard time jungling, they have to walk back to their tier 2 to get the bottle. They have to buy extra Dust and Sentries just to have a chance at killing you. The economic damage bounty hunter does without ever getting a kill is just absurd. It's something really no other offlaner can match. But yeah, overall, I think for DK have the edge here so far, as long as they're farming well. And they're slightly behind on the Clockwork, but overall, better CS. So I like the way DK is laning this much better. I think they're coming out on top. Tongfu, though, do have the stronger 5-man lineup, do have the stronger mid-game lineup in terms of just pushing and taking control. It is somewhat reliant on Chen having a good start, and that's where ZSMJ being shut down early could struggle, but Lamb, he's actually left the enemy jungle. He thought perhaps the Chen had smoked and headed towards his own jungle, or snuck in there somehow, but he was actually wrong about that. Chen has never left his own jungle, and now it's Ice trying to contest those pulls. He comes in, Chen trying to farm, and they'll de-ward that Observer Ward nicely. They know that there's some vision here because Ice just strutted up, but top lane could well be our first blood. Now XTT keeps on taking harassment. He's in danger, though. The Crystal Maiden, once she hits level 3, she'll have Nova as well as the Ice Blast, or the Frostbite, and then things get really difficult. Nice Rocket Flare. I think attempting to block a camp with it, and it looks like this camp didn't spawn, although I think there were heroes blocking it anyway. So, Lamb now invis and Shadow walking up into the enemy jungle. What's he going to do? Hasn't been super effective, to be honest. CSMJ is level 2, Lamb's level 1, but he's also just slowing down Sangsheng. They're forced to double jungle. He's hiding on the high ground here. There's no DK Observer Ward. Meanwhile, XTT continue to take damage top. Once Dai comes back, I think they could easily get a kill. So, again, just notice the way that Lamb's playing this. He's on the high ground. Even if they try to go on him, he'll see them first coming at him, and he can always run away. Very smart positioning. It's those little touches as the offensive jungle bounty hunter that really make the difference. What can Tongfu do? I think just... they are still getting good farm here. The Dragon Knight's farming well mid. He'll have a quick level 6, and your Lone Druid's having a good start. And ultimately, these two solos can just start to pressure their lanes by themselves. They don't really need help. So Tongfu group up and hang around mid. It is about to be nighttime. The lane's pushing. Dragon Knight just picking up a rune. Nope, sorry, it's a double damage rune. It spawns bottom, but now they found Lamb. He goes in Viz right after running into Sangsheng. He'll get a double damage rune here. But these supports for Tongfu just forced to roam as a pack. Very annoying to play against Bounty Hunter. It disrupts your whole game plan. And honestly, I'm a little surprised teams have not been banning him when they want to go for a jungler. Or just pick him for yourself and deny them. But they open with the very early Timbersaw, so running a Bounty Hunter for Tongfu would have been extremely greedy and just somewhat unreliable. We might see a go here on bottom lane, but without Janata, this is not a kill. Even with it, it's going to be very tough. Oh, Moo, is he going to find a solo kill mid? No. Almost gets Mushi. Mushi really needs that courier. Bottle's coming back out. It's got a bottle for Ice, as well as a chainmail. So Mushi will be the mech builder this game. That frees up your Clockwork to go 4-staff, point booster. They take over creep. They immediately smoke, and they head straight towards mid. Bounty Hunter's on the chase, but Lamp's going to be too late to see this one coming. If they just keep on going, circle around towards mid, they could almost certainly get the jump on Mushi. But is he going to hit level 6 in time? That clock's ticking. If he gets his level 6, I don't know if Tongfu actually have the burst. So they may decide to head for greener pastures. That's what they're going to do. They smoke up. They head towards top. Luna or Crystal Maiden, much easier kills. Both of them level 4. The line has been drawn by Sung Shung. He is leading the way. The one concern is ESMJ just does not have the best creep for this. He is a Satyr Tormentor. You really want a Troll here, a Centaur, some sort of reliable lockdown to set up your Timbersaw. And it looks like Lamb might well run into them. The smoke should just run out, but it is nighttime. I don't believe this has been spotted. Yeah, they're going to get a good sneak in here. But Dai, can he get out in time? They need a Rubik lift. Oh, no. He's run into them. Dai gets lifted up, thrown back down. Now the Satyr Blast coming through. They need that Timber Chain to connect, and it will. There's your first blood. Tongfu really had to grind that one out, but they do end up getting it in the end. Well played. So, patience pays off there, and they'll continue to... I think for this point, you can't really transition into a push. You just go back to farming. So you got your first blood. You got yourself some additional gold, and that's pretty satisfactory. You don't need to be taking towers yet. You'll have much more capabilities to do it later. Joe now hitting level 7. The lane gets very hard for Ice from here. They may want to try and gank this Lone Druid soon. He's going Midas, and he's just about got it. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, Moo just continued to farm, keeping pace with the Alchemist, even trading. And I think, generally, you'd rather have the Dragon Knight in this situation. He just offers you better initiation, a little bit less damage, but scales quite well with items. And when you're not going Grievel's Greed, it's not like the Alch really pulls ahead. So I like that trade as well. A bit better for Tongfu. They've really stabilized after what looked to be a slow start, and I think the key was just that gank was very successful. And they managed to dodge the Bounty Hunter. Lamb was good about following them, but he got a little bit out of position and wasn't able to track him down. So now he comes back mid. Hasn't been the most successful, like counter jungly Bounty Hunter. It's been decent, but it's middle lane where the pressure is about to come. Tongfu in a very aggressive posture here, looking to dive on Mushi. He does have his ultimate and the buckler available. He'll pop the ult now. XTT runs in and then says, that's not where I want to be. Not against Acid Spray. He'll Timber Chain away to safety. 4 heroes mid for Tongfu. 3 for DK, and not a drop of blood was shed this day. Jove's just jungling, hanging out, and maybe worried about the rotations bottom lane, because now Crystal Maiden's off the map. She could easily be TPing bottom. It's nighttime. He doesn't have a lane ward, so good positioning from Joe. It's very dangerous to be farming without that vision. Even with it, there could always be a smoke, though. Out comes the bear. Confirmed not to be Bulldog. Poor Joe. Not getting those roots. 8-minute rune's about to spawn. Moo is not gonna get it. It's an illusion. It spawns bottom. So far, so good, but yeah, I feel like Tongfu, they're the team with the stronger mid-game here. Pressure's going to be on DK. If DK get to the late game, if they get to the point where they've got a BKB on Luna, the mech, and then at least 1 or 2 more items on Mushi, I think DK late game are in decent shape, but it's that mid-game where they're really going to struggle. Chen's getting close to level 5, will soon have 2 creeps. Your Lone Druid's got a Midas, now works towards probably the Radiance, could even be a Maelstrom build or an AC, and their Death Ball is going to start picking up, but middle lane, a little bit of pressure on the Moo. Ice wants to make a go here, but diving a Dragon Knight, just not the best idea without a lot of backup. Moo's actually going to rotate towards bottom lane. Ice, very aggressive movement, but he's being spotted by Radiant Observer Wards while he does this. Now he needs to run. He's got a Dragon Tail, but as well as a Dragon Form in 1 second, but just not quite able to get in range. So as for DK, I've been talking a lot about Tongfu's 5-man. Whoa. I have never seen this bear before. He's got a lot of slobber coming out of his mouth there. That is quite the picture. Well, they go in now with the Dragon Knight ultimate, and they start to work on the tower. It's going to tick down to the Poison Breath. But yeah, this is where Tongfu are the strongest at. It's just this 5-man push. They are up against max Acid Spray, but Bear and the Dragon Knight just don't really care about it. They're going to go into Mushi. I don't know if that's the hero you want to focus, and in from the sideline comes Ice. Beautiful hookshot, clipping out Sung Shung. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. He'll go down. They've lost 1. Do they lose any more here? Dies low. Not going to die to the root, so 2 dead. The Chen actually fell there as well, and they're going to get the bear. DK just swarming to the bottom lane. Lamb's up to level 4 off of that. And Tongfu just not quite at the point where they can really fight effectively. They didn't have the 2 Chen creeps. Immediately, Rubik got caught up by a hook shot. And XTT wasn't really able to do much in that fight. I just feel like that was a sloppy initiation. Like, they were diving... You're diving Alchemist with Chemical Rage. And this is not a team with a lot of burst damage. And Timbersaw doesn't even have a single point in Whirling Death. You have a level 2 Test of Faith, not particularly high in terms of burst damage. Sangsheng doesn't have Spell Steal. You shouldn't be trying to dive Alch, you should just be sieging the tower. So Tongfu just a little bit overzealous there. Give up the kills. It's actually a big deal to give up those kills. There's not track gold, and it doesn't really ruin the game for them, but it's more... They could be pushing now. Chen could be level 5 right now, and they could be going, but instead... He's level 4, 10.5 minutes in. Same as the Bounty Hunter, which is... You know, 4-position Bounty Hunter doesn't have a lane. In 6.78, he's like level 2 right now. Still, though, Tongfu, they get Tranquil Boots up on Joe. He's now got 800 gold and the boots on the bear. And if he wants to go Radiance, he very well could. DK have a decent line to gank the bear, but I think Tongfu can take this late game. They just need the right items for it. They need the BKB on Mu. They'll need the Radiance on the bear. You get your level 7, and eventually your mech on ZSMJ, your Bloodstone and XTT. They can take this late. DK, decent late game as well, but I don't feel like DK are necessarily stronger. Where their strength lies is just a pick-off potential and track hold, but not in terms of raw damage output or 5-man potential. And here comes the push bottom lane. Rocket will splash through, but there's no acid spray here. The tower slowly sieged upon, and the middle tower sieged upon. It's these 2 solos for Tongfu, like I was mentioning earlier, just very good at pressuring the lanes, even against an Alchemist acid spray. It will be coming a stun in a second's time. It does decent damage, but that high base armor of Dragonite, as well as the Dragon's Blood armor, making the difference here. So now Burning, he'll continue to farm, will work towards his BKB, and here comes another smoke from Tongfu. This has not been spotted. It is daytime. 12-minute rune about to spawn, and they're looking to dive bottom lane. Zhou's really dove for this. He's baiting pretty well, though, because Ice 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 gets Dragon Tail. The wraparound cometh. Is Lamb ready? Is DK ready for this? The bear comes in. Mushi comes in. Everybody's descending on the lane. Out comes your Ice Blast for the Crystal Maiden. Sorry, the Nova, I should say. Now goes on to Sangsheng. They're going to get a kill here, I think. Lamb's dropping low, though. Does he get the kill? Not quite enough damage. Meanwhile, on the other side of the fight, they've lost Burning. The Luna teleported in as well. Immediately gets picked off. Here comes XTT. Just chaining his way through the fight. Not quite enough to get the kill. But they get the Luna kill of all heroes. And Burning used Eclipse on the backside. They didn't get any experience on Lamb. No track up for him. And that means the tower's dead. And Tongfu get a very important early game tower. Gold experience is even, but even is good for Tongfu. Because if they're even, that means they get their big team fight items out. Like the BKB on Dragonite comes fairly soon. Maybe Drums even for now. ZSMJ has the makings of the mech. Almost has it off that push. He got the kill on Burning, which is why he's as farmed as he is. Almost hits level 6, too. Yeah, taking 1 tower for this Tongfu lineup is way bigger than some other lineups that take 2-3 towers. It wouldn't really matter that much, but their lineup does so much with just a few basic push items that you really have to be careful if you're DK. Now DK, I think this is where you got to get your track gold online. Start going for pickoffs, maybe smoke gank with the clockwork. Before Chen hits level 6, ideally, but, well, he's about to, so scratch that thought. The alternative is just dodge fights and split push, but they do not want to be fighting 5v5 now without a pickoff. They're unlikely to get the good trades. And we'll see the courier come in for Mu. Ogre clubs up, BKB on the way, and Zhou starts to farm towards the Radiance, and rather rapidly at that. It looks like it'll be like a sub 20-minute Radiance here, maybe even sub 18 minutes if he gets a kill or 2 or another tower. Uncontested so far. Well, guys, it's been a slow game 1. 2-2 your score, 13.5 minutes in. And it's only a game 1. There's only one game. It's a best-of-1 series between Tongfu and DK. But so far, I gotta say, this is still anyone's game to me. DK may be behind a little bit in terms of momentum and just overall where they want to be for their strategy, but still in great position because they have track gold and because they have just a good mobile pick-off lineup. They can be behind and still easily come back. But it's getting harder and harder for them as this game drags on. Now 2,800 gold up on the Lone Druid. He'll have the Relic probably by like the 16-minute mark. The Radiance most likely by around 18, 19 minutes. It's looking good. DK not really showing much sense of urgency, though. So far, I just haven't seen Ice 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 do anything this game. 2 assists. He's been, I guess, vaguely involved, but it's harder and harder for him to get involved now. Clockwork jumps in. That's great for pickoffs, but when the other team's 5-man with a mech, what can he actually do? They'll go in now with the Mushi stun. They try to initiate on ZSMJ. They might be able to focus him down. He pops the mech and the Hand of God. Is he going to live? It doesn't look like it. Now Ice Ice is on the backside. He's caught 2 in the cogs. Beautiful little set of cogs from him, but in comes XTT. They're still alive. The Bear's tanking a lot of this damage. Mu looking for a Dragon Tail. If he stuns somebody and it's not Mushi, that hero's dead. We'll actually go for Mushi. Chemical Rage ends right now. What an unfortunate time for it to end. He's not dead yet. Where's that root? Can't get the root. Oh boy, Sangshang, the stolen unstable concoction will go down to a Nova anyway. Make it a 2-0 there. The Chen just respawning. DK getting on the board in a big way off of that fight. Now your score suddenly 2-4, and immediately they smoke. It's nighttime, and they're out for blood. Here comes Lan leading the way. He's level 7. Nice positioning from Joe, though. He's got the bear on one side, but they haven't seen Lamb coming. The smoke gets revealed, but Lamb's on the backside. He was sitting in range form, which is a little bit greedy, and he pays for it. Even in melee form, though, I think he still goes down there regardless. Now Eclipse, XTT to fall. All of a sudden, DK, they flipped the switch, and it was the kill switch, apparently, and they're just going to town here. They'll loosen B Mu. They'll continue to work on the tier 1 mid. The pushing team are the ones getting pushed. And what a time to kill the Lone Druid. He had his Midas off cooldown. He had 3,000 gold, not yet the relic, but very close to it. And they just couldn't go. The stolen unstable concoction gets lobbed out. Mu had a Dragon Tail. He could have gone on Mushi here, but well, decides that it's not worth the risk and will back off. Yeah, the importance of killing that Lone Druid cannot be overstated. That was just an absolutely incredible time to get that kill. And it really puts them in an uncomfortable position now, because his death delays his Radiance. Your Dragon Knight's still decent way off his BKB. Until they get those big items, when you give DK track gold, all of a sudden they can start to take 5v5 fights where normally they couldn't. This is not a fight they can take if Mushi gets caught, but he'll be okay. Does retreat out, so... Yeah, Tongfu have the better 5v5 lineup on equal footing, but yeah, if you start giving away track gold, then the game can quickly fall apart, and they're going to get a tier 1 top, burning, split pushing. This is exactly what DK want. Don't force too many fights, choose your engagements wisely, rely on hook shots, rely on trading track gold in your favor to pull out on top. And they've got another smoke. They're going to go for another one. They've got to be almost out at this point. One more smoke, and that's it. So the 1 smoke on Sangshang, 1 in the shop still available. So 2 total, but I imagine they're about to use one of these right now. Still jungling for the time being. They don't have level 7 yet on the Chen. He is really far behind. It's level 6 at 17 minutes. And this is the bounty hunter effect. And, you know, we often see these 4-position bounty hunters just, you know, I'm call it 4-position, basically doesn't farm bounty hunter, just runs around in the jungle. Anti-jungle bounty, whatever you want to call it. They'll beat level 2 at like 8 minutes, but then they just get involved in a few kills, a solo hero dies, and all of a sudden they catch right back up. As for Tongfu, very important for them not to give up any kills now. They almost have the relic up on Joe. You do not want to die now. So they're going to group up as 5. They're going to go down the middle lane, but this is a very weak timing for them. They just got the mech, but that's about it. Now the stun comes in on Mu. They want to take the tower down, but the bear is just melting. If they die now, it's a disaster, because the relic not yet up. He's almost got the Midas. I don't really think they should be going for this. And they're going to try to back off now. No, bear? Okay. Yeah, Joe is saying, just don't let me die right now. Protect me. I need my relic. But he's going to retreat even farther. The track is on Mu, so DK know exactly what they're up to. They see a couple heroes rotate towards top. They saw other heroes run back towards mid, and they say, we could just encircle bottom. We'll take another tier 1. No trade in sight for Tongfu. They do have the relic on the bear now, but they're giving up a lot. They just want to bide their time, get this Radiance out. As for DK, I think just the more fluid movement so far this game. When they move, it seems to be with a purpose. When they move, they take a tower. When they move, they get a kill. When Tongfu moves, sometimes they like go to push, and then they're like, wait, we don't want to be pushing, they back off. Just kind of indecisive play from them. DK just showing a little more confidence and poise thus far, but I still think Tongfu, they could even be down like 5k gold and come back. They have a really strong death ball. Like, think like StarCraft 2 back before like the Colossi, Blink Stalkers, High Templar, Protoss death ball got slightly tweaked and nerfed, like back in Wings of Liberty when I stopped watching. But there was that point in the game in StarCraft 2 where if they get enough upgraded long-range Colossi, you just lose. And I feel like Tongfu have that kind of a lineup. If they get enough items on their cores and their death ball gets strong enough, you just can't defend if you're DK. Not without some big item advantages. And they'll get a big one now. They get the BKB out on Burning. He can now remove Entangle. He can now block all that incoming damage as well as the initial stun from Mu. But it's hard to block Dragon Tail. That's an instant stun. He just Dragon Tails immediately after Dragon Form. And if you're in range, you get locked down. So we'll see if he's able to stay alive. On Medallion. Oh, they want to go Roche. DK. Are they going to do it now? There's a Radiant Observer Ward here. It is daytime. The movement towards the pit has been spotted. DK just prepping for the time being. I'm not sure they actually want to commit to this yet. But while they're busy dilly-dallying, Joe's getting Radiance. 20-minute Radiance, this is plenty early. Okay, they're going Roche now. Acid Spray, Medallion are up. Roche will have -3 armor. The Medallion not delivered yet. Oh, just got delivered. Yeah, there's your Medallion. Now the Roche melts. -9 armor. Or -6 total, I guess. And yep, there's your Roche. So easily killed off by DK. They get the Aegis on Burning. Good timing window for them to do it right before the Radiance comes out. But Joe should have the Radiance gold now. Needs to spend that gold. The Bear taking a Lucid Beam to the face now. An Alchemist stun coming out, but there's no hero to throw it on. They'll get it out safely. Track flying forth. Oh, Ice, Ice, Ice. Or Lamb, rather. That's a bridge too far. I'm used to seeing Ice, Ice, Ice from the Bounty Hunter. Out comes Burning. Throwing out the Lucid Beam. He even BKB'd for this. I think he underestimated his team's willingness to fight there. They didn't have Ice, Ice, Ice. They cannot fight without him. So he wastes his 10-second BKB. That's kind of unfortunate. Radiance is has been up on Joe now for about 30 seconds, and now their 5-man gets way stronger. This can also deal with the Burning. Split push better. Midas Radiance. I believe there were some win rates for this particular item progression if you go Midas Radiance instead of just straight Radiance, that it's like 20% higher win rate. Something like that, which I don't put too much stock in, because generally you're not going to go for the Midas first unless you're having a good game, but, you know, it's just an interesting little stat. Whether or not there's any correlation, or rather causation with it, remains to be seen. But either way, for Tongfu, just get the BKB on Dragonite, then you can start 5-manning, and it's where DK just have to be split pushing faster. And I gotta say, they don't have the best split push lineup. You've got a Mechanism Alchemist, you've got a Luna with a BKB Drums. These heroes don't push that fast. Meanwhile, Mushi, he's going to self-stun, but he's in big out form. He's very tanky here with the regen from Chemical Rage and should be fine. But yeah, Tongfu, they know their timing window is right about now. They've got the Radiance up on the Lone Druid. They rotate their entire team top, and DK just fighting this is very risky. I don't think they want to be doing it. Meanwhile, there has a hook shot, but who's caught who here? Ice, Ice, Ice. He tries to TP out. Give him a root. Give him a root. No root in sight. The root goes instead on to die. Oh, man. Talk about the bad luck, but... Hey, Ice, Ice, Ice doesn't get rooted. He got Alk stunned after teleporting out. That was the stolen Rubik Alk stun. Oh, that's interesting. And he TP'd to the tier 1, but because the Alk stun actually followed him, he's probably wishing it just TP'd home. Normally, like, that's a really smart play. You TP to the tier 1, you're not too low on HP, and you can still fight. But now he's going to initiate from half health, and it's just a very risky proposition. They start to siege here. It is a little risky to siege when mass heroes are getting tracked. BKB comes out from Burning, but the Bear's going to tank most of this, along with the Chen Creeps. Eclipse doing nothing. He's getting melted. Radiance Bear too strong. They brought Burning down once. He's got no Aegis. He's got no Eclipse. They'll take the tower. They'll take Burning again as well. DK are just crumbling under the pressure of Tongfu. If they lose this game, they're 1-2, and they no longer control their own destinies. They need Rattlesnake to lose that next game against Vici Gaming, if that does come to pass. And right now, it looks like it is going to come to pass. Tongfu, that's a big win for them. Killing Burning, popping the Aegis, forcing out another BKB charge, and delaying his item progression. This is what I meant when I said, when someone picks Chen and Lone Druid, your Luna just does not do much in the mid-game. Eclipse is useless. You need to have massive right-click items, but Burning's only got BKB Drums. If it goes later, and he starts to get up the Yasha, the Manta, the Helm of the Dominator, it's not that he can't go late, and it's not that he can't do damage, but this is just like the window where he's weakest. Chen with Mech, Chen with Hand of God when it's cooled down, and 3 creeps, plus Lone Druid having Radiance. Right now, Tongfu are way stronger than DK, but in 10-15 minutes, it'll start to equalize a bit. And we'll see if it gets there. Looks like Mushi going for Heaven's Halberd, maybe a Sanjin Yasha. I like the Heaven's Halberd a lot versus Lone Druid Bear. You can just... but it's not that good against Radiance is the problem. It was amazing back when people were going for the Armlet Bear. But with Radiance Burn, even if you disarm it, it's still running around burning your whole team. So maybe it's just a Sanjin Yasha here from him. Not going to be good against Dragonite with BKB either. Meanwhile, Lamb just casually strutting up mid, farming all by himself. He gets dusted for his trouble. He gets thrown up in the air, lifted back down, and do they get a root? Here's the question. No such luck. Where are the roots at? Bulldog would be very disappointed in you, Joe. Very disappointing. He's not teaching his bear well. There's a lack of love between Joe and his bear. I'm not sure why that is. He actually just put the Radiance back on the hero because he wants to heal the bear. So cute little adjustments from Joe. And he'll just be hanging out as big Papa Bear, glowing and burning stuff, while DK defend mid. They'll park 4 mid. It's sort of morphing into a 4 protect 1, although, to be honest, that's not really how DK want to play this. They would just want to run like a pick-off lineup, constantly finding track kills from hookshot, excuse me, and then having burning, split pushing, and joining fights at opportune moments. But here comes the push mid. They're going to get the tower with ease, and the death ball starts to mount. DK really struggling to deal with this. The big items are out now. I mean, everything they need is out. Urn, BKB, Radiance, Hyperstone. And I don't think they need to back here, to be honest. There's no Aegis on Bernie right now. And they're actually going to lift up die. They throw him back in. This will be another kill. That's the Crystal Maiden down. And DK just don't have counter push. They can drop Acid Spray, they can throw rockets, but their counter push is fighting. With Eclipse, with Hookshot. And you don't want to fight into this. Although I say this, but there's no Chen creeps, which is rather unfortunate. Well, Bernie doing his thing. But it's not anti-mage. Oh, there was a hookshot mid. They've actually caught out Moo, but again, who's caught who? I say Sisal force staff out. Nicely played. He does force out a BKB. That will probably end Tongfu's push for now. And they'll TP Zhou top. He'll continue farming. The AC is coming out soon. That's going to help mitigate Acid Spray almost completely. The -6 armor will only be a -1 after the AC kicks in. So basically negates Acid Spray and just makes your whole team a lot more stable and sturdy in these fights. Since he's going for AC, it looks like Moo's really got his options open here. I think Shadowblade would be nice this game because they don't have like a sneaky initiation. Their initiation is Rubik struts up and tries to lift you. That's pretty much it. So we'll see. But I think Shadowblade could work for Moo. If he doesn't want to go Shadowblade, he could honestly just go for like a Heaven's Halberd, for the Alchemist. He could just go for a Heart if he wants to tank up. Armlet's okay. You can go something like Armlet, Helm of the Dominator. Oh, Bear's getting ganked. Uh-oh. That's 300 gold. Well, Zhou feeds a little bit away. They're going to try and push, but they're pushing without Double Bear. Could be costly. We'll have to wait and see how it works out. They actually smoked up, and they park Moo mid. They're not really even baiting him. They're just leaving him there while the rest of the team goes top. Trying to make it less obvious that they're going for this gank, but the jig is up. DK ain't full. And they have gone Heaven's Halberd on the Alchemist. It's still good versus the Bear, even when he has Radiance. You can still prevent him from getting the roots off, but I do feel like the Bears already give you ACR regardless, and the Radiance R regardless. And I'm also starting to worry for DK. It's only Ice 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 who can start these fights, and he hook shots in. He's got to force staff out immediately, or he gets Dragon-tailed, rooted, and just dies. So I don't know. They lack that other way to initiate, like a Shadow Blade on Mushi, a BKB on him. And Tongfu can just stun him when he runs it. So here we go. Tongfu grouped up mid. 5 heroes looking to siege. DK, can they defend? We'll have to see. Nicely. Good job, Mushi. Nicely done. Just making sure a stun still works. Well, Mushi, you were right. It still works. And there's your 28-minute AC. And now Tongfu, they mean business. They might wait for the double bear to be online, but beyond that, they do want to start pushing here. I mean, not that they don't go late, because don't get me wrong, they do. They've got a lot of room to grow, but it's where DK, like I was saying, are sort of weakest now relative to Tongfu, but in 10-15 minutes, they get an Aghanims or a BKB up on Ice Ice Ice. They have a Luna with well, a Butterfly and maybe a Manta style on Burning, plus potentially even the Satanic by that point. There does come a point in the game where the bear just stops really mattering, and Luna can just evade all its auto attacks, easily right-click it down with Bouncing Glaives, and it starts to fall off a bit. So we will see, but I feel DK are just doing a better job of control. This is a DK tempo, basically, is what I'm saying. Whereas Tongfu, sure, they've got these great items. They're leading right now in terms of tempo. They're actually down gold, but I mean, to me, they just have the much stronger lineup at this stage of the game, but they're not doing much with it, and they need to be, and they're going to try to now. They siege the bottom lane. They've got the bear resummon. Roshan's about to respawn. If they lose this fight, it's a disaster for them. Moose waiting in the trees. And DK wisely are just going to forfeit that tier 2. I don't think they'll forfeit Rosh, though. Rosh about to respawn. This is a Chan Centaur? No, sorry, that's a Burning Centaur. Okay. So DK are going to know Rosh is up. They see it now. Question, though, is do they contest? Mu has gone Shadowblade, which gives them a great initiating spell. Here comes DK, though. Straight towards the Roshan pit. Ice, Ice, Ice. He'll scout it out with the rocket. It's dropping fast. Is he going to go for the big steal? He's got hook shot available. Ice, Ice, Ice. He hooks his way in. Does he get the Aegis? No, it goes to the Lone Druid. He just evaporates. He gets his bowels ripped out of him, basically, by the Timber Saw. Shredded to pieces. They even forced back the burning rotation. This is really bad. So they give up the Aegis to an amazing mid-game pushing lineup. And it goes to the ideal hero, the Lone Druid. So Dragon Knight, not the best choice. He comes back, and he's not in Big Daddy Dragon form. He's in regular Prancing Knight form, which was not ideal. So everything goes Tongfu's way there. And if they just want to end the game now, I think you either go for a pipe or just a Vlad's and your Lone Druid. I would like to see a pipe on this team, because to me, they could just be trying to win the game right now. They don't have to, but it's just, this is where the wave is about to crest. Now they go in. They found Lamb out with Dust. There was an Observer Ward here. May have spotted him going Invis. Maybe it was this one, actually. And he just melts. So nicely played. And they're going to take the tier 1 mid. And I don't know if DK can defend, guys. DK, they're dominating an ace, but this is the NEST. This is a fresh start in a LAN event. There is not a lot of margin for error. They lose this game. DK no longer controls their own destiny, at least as I understand the standings. Here they go, onto the high ground. Mu, not yet level 16. They do mech up the bear. Maybe they... I think you want to send the bear home and wait to have the proper double bear instead of using one up now, and then you just have the one bear. And if you die, well, then you're screwed, because then you don't have a bear resummoned for 2 minutes. Also, there's a tier 2 top, so that's the other thing. They can farm the Dire Jungle, push out the middle lane with the Radiant Bear, and then just go... even the bottom lane with the Radiant Bear. And then they can just go push top, take the tier 2, and then start that slow siege for the base. There's still room to grow here for Tongfu. They've got the Bloodstone up on XTT, but I think the big thing for Tongfu right now is level 16 Dragon Knight. You get that, and Luna, it doesn't matter if she has BKB and Butterfly. She just gets kited. She can't get in range to do much. There's double Troll Trap available here, along with Entangle. This Luna can easily melt. They're going to pop the Dragon form now. In they go. Shadowblade is up. Mushi, he's in trouble. He's going to eat a stun. He got off his ultimate here, but I don't know if it's going to matter. Dropping pretty fast. Mushi, not dead yet, though. Now the Eclipse comes from burning. The turnaround cometh. Sansheng to fall, and Mu's on the run. Are they going to turn this one around? Mushi's about to self-stun. Do they go back in? He stunned himself. Do they Dragon Tail him? Yep, yeah, they do, but Joe's heading one way. The rest of the team's heading the other. Now they're going to settle on focusing on Mushi, but do they get that entangle that they need with the Heaven's Halberd? He's able to dodge some of these auto attacks, is not getting disabled, and he's going to make it out. Nicely done, but they did use Eclipse for that, and they only got to support Rubik. That might be the tier 2 top falling. Guys, who's your rares on? It's a best of one. Somebody's going to lose rares here. Actually, I don't know if this was in Dota 2 Lounge, sadly. Yeah, I don't think it was. Oh, well. If my rares were on anybody, it would have been DK, but hey, best of one. Anything can happen. The fight breaks out. ZSMJ falling pretty fast. Now the bear trying to chase down Die. No. Retreating out. Going back for Lamb. He's just not killing anyone off, though, in this fight. Mushi is a real pain in the rear with that Heaven's Halberd. Constantly just disarming things and just tanking up, but they have found Mu. No BKB for 2 seconds time. Can he get it off for time? I think he's too low now. He'll BKB. He'll try to turn the fight. Burning just gets blown up by a breathed fire. What a weird way, a clowny way for a Luna to die at this stage of the game. Mushi next in line. That's 3 dead. DK just self-destructing. Joe Bear getting out of control at this stage. He's going for Die. He wants the full team wipe here. Is he going to find Die? Over the top comes the Chakram. The Radiant Bear gets pulled back by the cogs. What? How did he... Was that... Oh, was that Earn Charge? Okay. I was so confused. I was like, wait a second. Did he Chakram that? But yeah, I think the Earn Charge gets him the kill there. So 4 heroes fall. Tongfu in fantastic position. And they're going to look to break the high ground here. 2,500 gold lead for Tongfu. It's not the gold lead, though. It's the lineup. DK just lacked the 5-man potential. They lacked the proper items to take these fights. No Butterfly on the Luna. easily gets dealt with by Entangle. The Eclipse just gets tanked by Chen creeps as well as the Bear. Tongfu just frankly, I feel just outdrafted DK. And I think the big thing was Lamb on that counter jungling Bounty Hunter was not as effective as what we've come to expect. He slowed down the Chen, but ZSMJ and Sangsheng made that first early rotation top. Very successful gank for them, and it really made the difference. They didn't take a tower then, but just getting a little momentum onto their offlane Timbersaw. Everything's been hunky-dory since then, because he was the only one that needed help. Now suddenly, 4k gold on Mu. And Tongfu are... They've got an MKB on Zhou. Or an Abyssal Blade. Let's see what he goes for here. Probably the MKB. You're up against the Luna Building Butterfly, and yeah, it'll be a Demon Edge, so... A smart choice from him. Burning... I think at this point for DK, they can't afford to save for buyback, because ultimately, if you save for buyback on Luna, you should be coming back with no BKB and no Eclipse. Or you don't use it the first time, in which case that life's not worth much. So I think you got to go Butterfly here for Burning. You need your items to progress, because Lord knows that Tongfu's items continue to progress as this game goes on. 35 minutes in, only 20 kills, but very methodical, disciplined play from Tongfu. A team that's looked very sloppy and chaotic at times. If you missed the game where they did this crazy Earthshaker Fissure Block strat, they had a Puck who got a Quelling Blade, ate a bunch of trees over here, and then Earthshaker was just fissure blocking the creeps in. I don't know if that's the exact right location, but I might actually think it was over here. But either way, that's neither here nor there. Point is that they often have seemed unstable, but this game, very solid and just well-rounded draft. And execution. And they're not getting the MKB yet on Joe. Not sure if there's a reason why. Is he going? Okay, Mu's got a Mjolnir. There's a Shiva's Guard on XTT. Oh my god. The new Mjolnir on the Lone Druid Bear with Radiance and AC. Oh boy, this is gonna hurt. I actually don't remember the exact details of what got buffed for Mjolnir. I know I think it has a bigger AoE for the active buff. Where does it say? Yeah, it's 900 range away now that it can deal the damage to. So anyone with the 900 AoE is a possible target for that. I think it used to be 550, so it's a pretty significant upgrade, and it's just a lot more damage in general. So I think it's one of the stronger items in this patch if you can get it. It's just a very situational item because it's magic damage, it can be unreliable, but when you got a bear this fat, it's like too fat to fail. You put the Mjolnir buff on this, and the bear just wins you the game. Just A-click the enemy base, go get yourself a coffee, come back, and enemy base is dead. It's like going mass carriers in StarCraft. I'm on a StarCraft kick tonight. That was the ultimate, like, lazy way to play in low-level games. You just build enough carriers and A-click towards the enemy base, and you can't lose. Just have to keep on building new interceptors. That was one of my favorite StarCraft strategies. I miss the sound from Brood War. Alright, we're on a tangent here, but it's just Tongfu taking their time, guys. They should really be looking to end the game soon. They may wait for the next Aegis at this point, but beyond that, I just think it's playing into DK's hands, and it's a mistake to let it drag on. Again, eventually the bear becomes killable, even though it may be able to just dish out insane damage to Luna. It ultimately just falls off compared to, say, a hero in terms of it doesn't have any magic resistance to speak of, and it's more easily dealt with. So they'll look to break the base now. There is a glyph available for DK. They've got quite a few buybacks here, but now the level 3 Dragon Form's online, and Tongfu are looking to take down DK and sit 2-1 to DK's 1-2 in this group. Can they do it? That's the question. Waiting from the sidelines is Ice. He's got a hook shot. Force that, but who do you hook in this fight? The supports are the ideal target. They really want to grab Sangsheng, CSMJ. That would be nice. He hooks in. He's found Joe without the bear, but the Rax has already fallen, and immediately, well, Ice just gets absolutely slaughtered by the bear. It's still alive, tanking everything. Mu gets the double kill. Quick buyback from Burning, but what are you buying back with here? There's no BKB. There's no Eclipse. It's an irrelevant buyback. And I think DK are just about out of this game. Mushi rooted up, quickly dealt with. He's going to fall as well. Triple kill for Mu. Tongfu are just slamming DK. And this game's pretty much, you can book it. Tongfu are taking this game. They'll take 2 lanes of Rax here. They may well just get mega creeps. DK, they might have the name recognition. They might have the big all-star lineup, but Tongfu, they got the win here. They've got the better pushing lineup. I think just the better and more solid draft, and have executed it well. Give them credit. DK need to cancel some TPs here. Something. No, they can't even get that. They'll look to pursue out Shang, but I don't think it's going to accomplish much. Meanwhile, there are still 3 heroes hanging around in the jungle. The chase continues. There's another hook shot. He has found ZSMJ. Quick 4-step out of the cogs. iSaySay's trying to pursue, but ZSMJ's out of range, and with no more hook shot, I don't think he can get that kill. Meanwhile, Lamb does manage to clear up the Rubik. XTT also on the run, but they're really chasing for this, and they're not going to get it. Not sure why they're still chasing. They're very desperate here. Yeah, they just used a lot. They buy back on the Alchemist earlier. They bought back on the Luna just now. And now your Mjolnir is complete on the Dragon Knight. So throw that on the bear. Stick that in your pipe and smoke it. Not that they needed it, but they got some extra something now. Yeah, this is the death of DK, I think, guys. At this point, they don't control their own destiny. As far as I understand it in NIST, they are entirely reliant on Rattlesnake losing to Vici Gaming. If Vici Gaming win that game, they'll be 3-0. They'll be guaranteed 1 seed out of this group, along with LGD, who's already the 1 seed out of Group B. And I believe it's like the winner of the first group plays the second place team from the second group. So even if DK did advance, they'd be playing LGD China in the first round. The best team, at least you'd think, in Group B based on their record. So we'll see. Could be a very exciting matchup, though, if it comes to that. But for now, it may well be Rattlesnake who has a shot to advance. Remember, they took a game off of DK earlier, so don't put it past them to take a game off of Vici. I feel they definitely could, based on the way they played in WPC Ace. Here we go. Move, BKB up. It could be the final fight. The big, bad Blue Frost Dragon going to work. He's just ruining everyone. But actually, no, the BKB ends. He might drop here to Mushi. Dropping low, he will go down. The Hand of God was a little bit late. I don't think it did anything for him. They do end up losing a Crystal Maiden, but that's a great trade. The problem, though, is they're still down 2 lanes of rack. So, nice for DK, but not really nice enough. They need more items at this point. Burning really needs a Satanic and another damage item. He doesn't have Manta yet, which is very important on Luna. It's a way to get out of the Entangle. It's also just a great source of teamfight damage with a massive swarm of glaives bouncing to and fro. And the agility and move speed are important just to chase down the bear. Maybe DK can pull something out of the hat here. They'll try and go for Roshan, and it will drop pretty quickly, but already the pings come out. The Wild Wing Ripper throwing in his Tornado. Roshan's at half HP. DK are about to be caught in the middle of the pit. Here comes XTT. Uh-oh. Get ready for some pain, guys. In the bear goes. It has been trapped by the cogs. They try to finish the Roche. They get it. Now they need to run. The Aegis picked up by Burning, killed by the Dire, so everything going DK's way there. But now XTT, he's just hanging around. He wants to fight this one. Can he kill up Burning? Can he get rid of that Aegis? The BKB's already been used. Burning is gonna drop. Yep, the Aegis is down. Now Mushi, ultimate over. Something stolen by Shang. He's dropping the Acid Spray. It's going the other way. It's all about the bear, though. Gets the bash, getting the roots. Easy kills. And should be an easy win from here for Tongfu. They just need that 1 lane of Rex. They'll find Lamb. There's your Bash Lord. Where's that root when you need it? Nothing doing. Somehow Wild iSaySay just died in the Roshan pit. Okay, well, didn't realize he was still there. But either way, they'll Frostbite the bear. They'll try to bring it down. There's no resummon for 30 seconds. He does want to be careful with this one, but they're down with Clockwork on the sideline for quite some time. 30 seconds to be exact. And even if they don't win now, they should win with the next push. Maybe they go back off to bottom. No, they'll go in with Mu. They're going for the jugular here. But there's no jugular to be had. So they'll back off. 5.5k up on Joe, so he's got Abyssal Blade if he wants it. It's a little awkward on the bear since it does cost a small amount of mana, so you can actually use the active, but it still gives you good damage, and it's also more inventory efficient, so we'll see what Joe goes for here. He could also just start getting items on his hero if he wants. And honestly, he is getting to that point in the game where he may want to consider transferring the items to his hero. Phase Boot's still a possibility for the bear, but yeah, beyond that, you could sell your Midas. He's pretty much maxed out on the bear. And we'll just see. They now get a Helm of the Dominator on Mu. They'll group up, head towards top to push in that lane, but there's no racks here. And DK are just dying a slow and painful death. That Crystal Maiden Midas picked up like a good 35 minutes ago. Just haven't seen anything come of it. There's no Force Staff, there's no Mech or Ghost Scepter. In fact, the Midas is the most expensive item that your Crystal Maiden owns. That is rather sad. DK, just hanging on for dear life. 44 minutes in. Can Tongfu finish the deal? They'll look to put the final nail of the coffin here as they group up 4 mid and 1 heads towards bottom. I think Tongfu is like just nervous about throwing this game or something because they really can just go win the game right now. I mean, they've got Bloodstone up on XTT. He'll instantly respawn with 20 Bloodstone charges, and then he's got a buyback after that as well. They can send home heroes in fights, and then Boots will travel them back in. They've got 6 freaking K gold on Zhou. But they're playing it safe. Can't fault them for being safe. Casual Demon Edge picked up. This will be a... Actually, I'm not sure. Is it going to be a Divine? That is a really greedy item on the Lone Druid Bear. I do not think he should go Divine here. I guess it could be Daedalus, but that's just weird. It's a weird Lone Druid Bear item. Or just a casual Demon Edge. We'll wait and see. As for Tongfu, for now, I think he just wants to save for buyback, though. Up to 4K. You want to be able to TP back into the fight. Boots of travel if needed, and rejoin the engagement. So Tongfu, still waiting for their moment to strike, but that iron is beginning to grow a bit colder. Burning this cheese. Oh, I guess I missed that in the last fight. He did end up picking up the cheese in the midst of the chaos as well, and is still... Or, I don't know if he picked it up, but he's been given it anyway, and is holding on to it. So, here we go. Double Wild Wing Ripper Tornadoes. They come in. They'll be scouting everything out. And Tongfu, they look to break one last lane of Raxus for DK. They're sitting on 0 buybacks. They got nothing. Just 5 lives in this fight. Tongfu sitting on 4 now as the Chen just picks up his. And the Bear is doing a whole lot of work. They've come in from the backside with the hook shot onto ZSMJ. It's the ideal hero to focus, but XTT doing too much work. It's these frontline heroes that they just can't deal with. Die on the run. Quickly dealt with. DK just getting Hulk smashed by Tongfu. They'll stun Ice Ice Ice. There's your GG. DK just did not have anything left in the tank. They're going to drop game 1 of the best of 1. So they dropped the series, and now they're at the mercy of the vagaries of fate. They must wait to see who wins out of Vici Gaming versus Rattlesnake, if it's not already over. I actually don't know if that match was played yet, or if it's going to be played right after this. If it is being played right after this, we will cast it. If it's not, guys, then... well, that will be it for NEST today, as I understand it. So, in the end, Tongfu take it and do so very convincingly. I gotta say, I just like their draft better. Better draft, better strategy. DK, very reliant on pickoffs, very reliant on having a fast start, and snowballing. Never had it. So, take your hats off to Zhou, because he played fantastic Dota. But Tongfu take this game, guys. They are now 2-1, and I think... I don't know if they're guaranteed to advance, but they'll at least be tied with whoever else ends up 2-1 if Rattlesnake end up doing so. But that's going to wrap up the series. If there's another game, we'll be casting it. If not, we'll see you tomorrow. I'm LD from Beyond the Summit. We'll be right back, maybe.